is Mark Gunn Media.
Hit it!
Welcome to Gunshots Straight from the Hip. I'm your host, Mark Gunn. The views expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and not necessarily reflective of anyone or any entity associated with this broadcast. This episode, the battle of the sexes and why some men are saying, I quit. There's a phenomenon that's been around for quite a few years that's finally coming to the mainstream. A phenomenon that is seeing men giving up on relationships altogether. It's called MGTOW, men going their own way.
What is MGTOW, or men going their own way? First, let me be very clear about what it is not. MGTOW is not a movement or a political activist group. This is because it has no leader and it is not formally organized. MGTOW is not a woman-hating group or synonymous with toxic masculinity. Many of us have mothers, sisters, daughters, and female friends that we love. Finally, MGTOW is not a bunch of weak, selfish, or scared men. Some of the most influential men in history have been MGTOW, including Jesus Christ, Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla, and the Dalai Lama. Now that has been cleared up, what is MGTOW? MGTOW is a lifestyle choice whereby men take self-ownership of their time, energy, and resources, and they direct these things towards whatever path is beneficial or meaningful to them. MGTOW understands that men are viewed by society as disposable utilities who serve to benefit others while at the same time having their own best interest disregarded. MGTOW, as a general rule, rejects legal marriage and cohabitation with women because such concepts are not, at the current time at least, mutually beneficial, but instead favor women legally, financially, and socially. You might be thinking, okay, I get it. I have this little group figured out. I know what it's all about, but I can promise you, you don't. You see, MGTOW is just the start. It's the doorway. You will find all different types of men out here under the MGTOW umbrella who've taken vastly different paths. One is an atheist, the other a born-again Christian. One is a pickup artist or player. The other is a MGTOW monk who chooses to cut off all romantic relationships with women. One is a middle-aged divorced father. The other is a teenager in high school. Simply put, you cannot lump us together as all this way or all that way. We are men going our own way, whichever way that might be. An essential truth upon which MGTOW is founded is called Brifault's Law. Dr. Robert Brifault was a French surgeon, social anthropologist, and novelist in the early 1900s. He observed that, quote, the female, not the male, determines all the conditions of the animal family, where the female can derive no benefit from association with the male, no such association takes place, end quote. In other words, women see relationships in an opportunistic way, in a pragmatic way. Without this dynamic, there is no relationship. Men understand this. We don't even argue against it. How can you argue with nature? Women are just how they are. Thus the acronym AWhile, or All Women Are Like That. This is why MGTOW is not an activist group. We don't expect women to change. They can't. We just want to opt out of the system and pursue our own paths. Sure, we cautiously hope that the legal climate will change to where men and women have equal footing in marriage contracts and where the biased state doesn't interfere. But we don't expect this to happen, and we don't need it to happen. A common retort is that we need to, quote, man up. This sexist comment is designed entirely to shame men into returning to the plantation, putting on their saddles, and being a workhorse or pack mule. Men do like to work hard, just to clarify, but not for those who have legal power to take it all from them in divorce court, custody situations, false allegations, child support, and alimony. But it's not just limited to marriage and relationships. Society overall caters to and defends women at the expense of men. Fellow men who participate in this and defend women at all costs, regardless of what the truth is, are referred to as white knights, simps, manginas, soy boys, just to name a few. These people's worldview is referred to as the blue pill, as opposed to the red pill of MGTOW. This is a reference to the movie The Matrix, of course. There's also the purple pill, which would be somewhere in the middle, kind of like having your cake and eating it too. But it's just an intellectually weak position for those who aren't ready to take either side and haven't really thought things through to their logical ends. Please be cautious of where you get your information from. There are more trolls out there than there is transparent and accurate info. You'll also find unnecessary factions and wars within the MGTOW community. Please ignore this. If you are MGTOW yourself, don't get involved. Stick to the basics of what the lifestyle means. Men going their own way.
To even begin to understand what MGTOW is, quite a few questions need to be asked.
Why is it that so many men are choosing to leave women? Why is it that so many men are stepping away from dating? Why is it that so many men are beginning to take down this journey and this men going their own way? This lifestyle is growing. All these things are popping off because men are realizing that dating is not actually bringing them any value. Because what a lot of men don't realize is that V-Box brings no value. Empty box brings no value. There are women out there that can bring you value, 100%. But most guys are pursuing empty box. They're only doing it to give their ego a sense of gratification. But now guys are starting to realize how much of time they're actually wasting doing that and pursuing that. Believing that you don't actually need anything outside yourself to feel good about yourself. You're looking for someone else to fulfill love or freedom or happiness inside of your life when you can actually do that by yourself. But a lot of guys are waking up to this. A lot of guys are realizing that this is the path. This is the way. Whether you don't want to get married, whether you don't want a relationship, whether you just want to sleep around, whether it is you just want to be alone forever. It's a lifestyle, it's a practice. A lot of guys are just going away to do this so they can work on themselves, so they can improve on themselves. And this is the key, guys. This is absolutely key. Because at the end of the day, every guy should have his purpose. Every guy should be driving towards something that's so important to him. Every guy should have a goal up here. Every guy should have a vision and moving towards that vision daily. Every single guy. Your purpose is not to pursue empty box that doesn't bring you any value, that gives you a false sense of gratification and hit to the ego. That's not what this is about. Why you are here is because you actually want to be better. You want to be stronger. You want to be mentally better in all aspects of life. You want to be better. And this is what brings you here.
The more you start to hear about MGTOW, the more controversy there's going to be. But yet for some sociologists and counselors and people that deal with relationships, there does appear to be a rationale for it.
It's a hard thing to admit, but it's understandable why they would choose to go their own way. And that's what's scary, is there's actually a rational reason why they would do that. Mm-hmm. If you're being told all your life that you are bad and wrong just for being a man, and that you have toxic masculinity for being a man, and that, you know, women, there's this famous feminist expression that, you know, a woman needs a man just like a fish needs a bicycle, and that men are basically useless, and that men are terrible, and that, you know, women are superior. How would you feel? I mean, you know, you're not going to feel that attracted to a woman or care to be loving towards her or romantic towards her. So this men going their own way movement is a reaction to that. I really think it's a rational reaction to that. Men are finally like, hey, we've given you all you want. You know, you are equal in every way, and then you're still shaming us. Yeah. So for a lot of the men, and a lot of them have gotten screwed over in terrible relationships and divorces, and gotten their kids taken away from them. So it's an understandable response. Now, I do think there's another option, though. There's a third route. I don't think they need to just hang up the shingle on women and quit women altogether. That's not being part of the solution. There's a lot of women out there that still are more traditional women, that they are good women. They love men, they respect men, they appreciate the differences between men, and they're out there. You know, because a lot of guys think this, they buy into this myth that, oh, well, nice guys finish last, and I have to be this jerk in order to attract women. I can't be nice because every time I'm nice, I'm screwed over. That's not true. It's not true either. You can be nice. You should be nice. Any sane woman wants a nice guy, but also backed up with boldness and balls and, you know, doing certain masculine things. Any sane woman wants a man who's a gentleman and who's a kind man, who's a loving man, who's a good man. You know, we want a good man, but one who also we respect. A lot of guys who fall into that too nice category, what they call the beta guy, what they do incorrectly is they rely only on their niceness. And in fact, they can be a bit manipulative deep down when I really press them on it. They're using niceness as like their trump card. They're using niceness as a technique because they think that's going to win women over. And that's all they got. That's the only card they have in their deck. They're not making her laugh. They're not having fun. They don't know how to be bold. They don't know how to flirt. So yeah, of course that's going to be conveyed as boring. And if they're not enforcing their boundaries at all, then they're allowing themselves just to get walked over by women.
One of the good things that I can estimate from the rise of this movement is that more men are starting to do something that they've been socialized not to do, and that's speak out and express themselves about what they think and how they feel when it comes to the opposite sex.
Something that many of you might have noticed over the last year or so is what I like to call the Great Divide. What has happened over the last year is that everything, with almost no exception, has basically been split in two or divided, with the two halves being pitted against each other. Everything in politics has been divided, and as crazy as it sounds, even genders have been forced against each other. And without getting too philosophical, at the heart of all of this is something far more profound than all of the petty fighting with each other that we have been doing. In the year 2021, many men are lost, and they simply do not know what to do with themselves.
Reason being that for some men, they feel like they're in a no-win situation. Why? Because the signals are just so mixed.
Basically, I like to be approached by guys, and I think that a lot of guys don't do that.
Women have become really less approachable. A man's really not clear if a woman is interested. And that's a problem, because as a man, to walk across the room to talk to a woman and be rejected, I mean, who likes to be rejected? That's a really tough thing.
Give me some subtle hints to open up that door, because I'm one of those men that don't like rejection. You know, I don't want to come up to you. I'm one of those guys, I'm in a club dancing, and I come to ask you to dance, you tell me no, I probably won't ask anybody else for the rest of the night.
But again, it goes back to that men are at risk, and so as men, we've got to get over that. You know, if I walk up to this woman and she's not interested, how do I deal with that?
I think you should approach. I don't think there should be anything, and at least talk to them. It doesn't mean rejected. What are you going to say? Will you go out with me? I mean, it doesn't hurt to approach someone and talk to them. You can't be rejected unless you're asking them a question. Like, will you go out with me? But you can certainly go in and talk to them, and that's the whole thing about being open. That doesn't hurt at all, and you never know the interesting things you can find out when you do that.
I guess I kind of feel like a fool if I approach a girl, and and it's almost obvious to her that the reason I'm approaching her is because I find her attractive. When I realize that maybe she's not necessarily has a sense of humor or whatever it is that I'm looking for, I kind of feel like a dope.
The men who I know who are single do typically approach women that they're interested in. And they also will approach women in circles that they're in.
Yeah, I actually did that once. I asked a guy out, but it was by email, so I think that was probably like a little bit safer. I don't know if I've never actually just asked a guy out. I'm kind of shy, so that might have something to do with it, but theoretically, I think it would be okay, but at some point in the relationship, I think that it would need to shift, and he would need to be the one that was really pursuing me. Otherwise, it's not going to work out.
I honestly don't get pursued. I think since I've been out here in 2 years, maybe 2 guys that I've known of that have been interested.
I don't go to bars much anymore, but I used to, and back then, that would be maybe 5 years ago, I would do that. Just go up to women that I didn't know at all and just, find a way to talk to them. I'm a little more kind of laid back now about that. Like in group settings, I'll look, and if there's someone I want to talk to, I might wait to see if there's anyone I know already in the group that is talking to her, and I'll go up and say hello to the person I already know and let them introduce me to her, as opposed to going to a group of strangers and just starting a conversation.
I think that it's really the guy's job to pursue, but I think many times I have been one to just step out and be like, hi, but I am that way with a lot of people. I just like to find what makes people tick.
The mixed messages is incredibly difficult for me because I really edge on the side of caution. Like I have this paranoia of being somebody who's making advances at somebody that's not interested, because I just never want to be that guy. So I will err on the complete opposite side of not even going. It's almost like I have to have almost a green light for me to go ahead and approach that romantically.
And because more women are becoming empowered in so many ways, the paradigm shift that has happened in gender roles is also quite confusing.
We're so busy. We're on the phone in our cars. We've got our Blackberries. We're scheduling, and we're so busy, and we don't often make space for a relationship.
The thing about being a man's equal from a woman, I think, is totally wrong, because I think men want the woman to be feminine, and I think that's so important, the feminine role and the masculine role.
Over the last couple of decades, the biggest thing that has shifted in romantic relationships for men and women is that women have become so successful and so independent and self-sufficient, and all of that is good. It's good for women to be successful, accomplished, educated, etc. But it has given us a couple of problems in our romantic relationships. One is that we really don't need men for anything, and so men are busy trying to impress us or show us what they can provide, and we sort of have this attitude of, well, until you can provide something beyond what I can provide for myself, why should I be impressed by you? Why should I pay any attention to you? So it's not that there's anything wrong with what the feminist movement created or the successes and the achievements that women have had, but rather how it has made us less willing to be impressed by who men are and what they can provide. And the problem is that if you want to be alone, that's fine. But if you actually want to be in a romantic partnership, there has to be something that he provides that would make it worth it.
I really see and have experienced that in our society, it's a man's basic nature to protect and to provide. And what's happening now is that women, we're great protectors and providers. And we don't really need a man, although we may want a man in our life. So there's confusion that comes in there.
Men complain that women have turned into men. She doesn't have enough time for me. Right? She's always hanging out with her friends. She's always traveling. She's always at work. You know how you hate men who are afraid of commitment and are working all the time and hang out with their buddies? Guess what? That's you.
You know, if anything, the pandemic in this past year exposed a lot of chinks in the armor when it comes to relationships between men and women. And from where I'm sitting, MGTOW seems to be a viable alternative for some men. For the first time, they are able to freely express themselves without the fear of any sort of backlash from the women in their lives. You know what I'm talking about. If you're a man who's ever confided in a woman and had her use that information against you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. However, there are those that have not given up, and they want you to know exactly what it is that they need from you in order to stick around.
Number one, praise and approval. We men love praise and approval, right? It won't make us cocky. It's going to make us feel loved. Let me know when I did something right. Let me know when I'm doing something right. Let me know what you find attractive about me. Let me know that I'm a great father. I'm a great dad. I'm a great person. When I do something right, let me know. Say, babe, good job. Some men, we do need a pat on the back. Not literally a pat on the back, but we need some kind of approval to let us know that, hey, you are improving. You looking good. You went to the gym today, babe. I see that 6-pack showing. You looking like a snack. Number 2, respect. Men feel respect as love, right? Respect my decisions, respect my goals, respect my dreams, respect who I am as a man. If your man is working hard every single day to provide for the family, he's being there for you, he's caring for you, he's investing in you, and he's being that good man, because good men do exist. Respect that man and what he does for you. Number 3, a sense of sexual connection. I want to know that I still look good to you. I want to know that I'm attractive. I want to know that you find me sexy. I want to know that you find me handsome. I want to know that when we get married, right, that you want to have sex with me, right? That you want to make love to me, right? I want you to find me sexually attractive just as much as you love my mind. I want you to find me like I'm the sexiest man in the world. Like, I love you. You look good. And that goes with praise and approval, right? A woman, tell your man, babe, you look good right now. I love the way your arms look in that shirt. Right? I love the way that shirt fits you. I love the way that those jeans fit you. You have to give that praise and approval, and also have that sexual connection with your man. Let him know that he looks good, because we love that type of approval. We love that type of communication. Right? Let us know that we look good. It makes us feel loved. Number 4, emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy. Right? The reason why I say emotional intimacy is because we want to know that you won't judge us or make us look bad for sharing our feelings with you, right? If I cry on your shoulder, that doesn't make me less of a man. I'm just opening up emotionally to you. So we need that woman who is who's also a nurturer, right? Who can lay us on our shoulders and say it's gonna be okay. Even though we walk around like we're macho and we're tough, we love that kind of sense of connection. I want to feel safe as much as you want to feel safe in my arms. I want to feel safe on your shoulders. If something's going wrong in my life, if the job is not treating me right, if life is not treating me right, I want to have that emotional intimacy with my wife, with my woman, with my girl, so I feel safe. And I know that I'm just not a deadbeat man. Number 5, we need space. Suffocating your man is the fastest way to end a relationship. We need space. We know that you ladies, you love to be cuddled, you love attention, but we need our space. We need time to go out with our boys, hang out, go to the gym, play basketball for a few hours, right? Without you blowing up our phone, texting us every minute, where you at, what you doing. We just need space. Don't text us. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Don't text us. Don't call us. Just leave us alone for that 3 hours. If you want to check up on us, then that's okay. That's fine. Hey, baby, making sure that you're there safe. Hey, babe, when you coming home, could you pick me up some milk? Can you pick me up some ice cream? Whatever it is. But we need space. We need time to breathe, because as a man, we have so much responsibility. Sometimes playing basketball with the boys, we want to just relax and let all that steam out of us, right? We having career problems. We having, we consistently with the baby. We're consistently like trying to provide for our family. We need time and space to relax and take a deep breath, because if we're being smothered too much, we're going to be stressed out. So, number 5, space. We need space. Number 6, we need physical touch. As much as physical touch is your love language, man, and you love the way we slap your booty when you walking by, we grab you, we want that too. Don't slap the booty, but we want that physical touch. Like, grab me, touch me, grab my arms, be like, oh babe, you've been working out, you've been hitting the gym, I like that. Like, it makes us feel better. Like, touch me, grab my face, touch my beard, or what I have here. I don't got a beard, but whatever, I ain't beard gang. But we want that physical touch. Give us a hug. Sometimes we won't even ask for it, and we should, right? Or just walk up to our baby. But when a woman says, hey babe, come here and give me a hug, and you grab you and that hold, that tightness, that physical, emotional touch, that connection, it feels heavenly. You know, so sometimes all a man needs is like, hey, babe, give me a hug, right? Or jump on him, hey, and what's that for? That's just for being you. That's just for being a great father. That's just for being a good provider, for being a great boyfriend, you know, for being a great man. And it's okay to hug your man or kiss your man on the forehead or the cheek and say, hey, babe, I love you, right? We want that physical touch. Last but not least, number 7, security. We want to feel, and this goes for men and women too. The last one goes for men and women. We want to feel safe when I'm around you, right? I'm talking about with the honesty, the loyalty, the integrity. I want to know that you won't talk about me behind my back to people I know and the people I don't know. I want to know that this relationship, we're all in, right? I don't want you to think single. I don't want you to do single things. I want you to be committed. And that's part of security, knowing that this relationship is going somewhere and it's not going somewhere with someone else, right? So we need that security, that feeling that we got this locked in. We are a team. We're in this to win this. We in this till death do us part. You could be married, you could be, you know, engaged, or you could have just a boyfriend and girlfriend connection. But the security doesn't end at either one. We want to feel safe. We want to know that you're not playing me behind my back. I want you to make me feel safe, and that's based on how you treat me, right? And all the stuff that I listed before, right? If you're there for me, right? Do you really love me? Are you coming home on time? Are you texting me, you know, frequently? Are you giving me a call? Are you making me feel safe at the end of the day? So we need that security. We need that sense of reassurance. We need to feel secure in our relationship with our partner. Sometimes all we need, and in relationships, all we need is someone to love us, right? Beyond our circumstances, beyond our flaws, beyond the things that we do that makes you off. We just need love.
You know, I'm not going to come down one side or the other on this whole movement. I don't feel like it's my place to do that. However, I will say, and you hear men say this all the time, you need to go where you can find your peace. If it's with the one you're with in your relationship, that's good. If it's not, that's good too. Thing is, you've got to decide what's best for you. This is something that will continue to be an issue as long as the world continues to revolve around the sun. And I'd love to hear your take on it. Shoot me an email at mark@markgunmedia.com. That's mark@markgunmedia.com. And make reference to this episode. You've been listening to Gunshots Straight from the Hip. The views expressed are those of the host and guests and not reflective of any business entity or anyone associated with this broadcast. If you have any comments or want more information on how to be a sponsor, log on to our website at markgunmedia.com or call us at 502-407-0283. That's 502-407-0283. Thank you for listening.
Mark Gun Media. No hype, no hoopla, just damn good work.